Today we'll be solving quadratics by taking the square root. Don't forget to take notes as you go and do the survey. So here are some things to know. We can only use this method when there is no b value. So with ax squared plus bx plus c, we can't have the b. So here's an example. We're basically just trying to get the x by itself. So the very first thing we want to do is divide both sides by 6. Now when we do that, we're left with x squared equals 81. And now to undo a square, we take the square root. But when you take the square root of something, you have two values, both the positive and negative. And the square root of 81 is 9. So we're going to do x equals 9 and x equals negative 9. This can also be written as x equals plus or minus, meaning the positive and the negative of the number 9. Let's try another one. Here we have x squared plus 9 equals 59. Same idea. We're going to get rid of the things that are with the x squared so that we can solve for x. So we subtract 9 from both sides just like we would in solving a regular equation. We get x squared equals 50. Now we need to solve for x by taking the square root of both sides. So x equals plus or minus. This one's not a perfect square, so you're going to want to put the square root of 50 into your calculator. When you do that, you will get the number 7.07. Go ahead and use 2 decimal places and make sure you round that number. So on my calculator it said 7.071. 1 does not make the 7 round up. Anything 4 or below keeps it the same. 5 or above moves the number up. So we're going to leave this one alone, and we get plus or minus 7.07. Now remember, we're talking about a parabola here. So what that means is we've got a parabola that crosses the x-axis at negative 7.01, or sorry, 0.07, and at positive 7.07. So if I graphed it, it would look something like that, crossing the x-axis at a negative 7.07 and a positive 7.07. So here's another example. This time we're going to add 1 to both sides. Then we're left with 10k squared equals 90. We divide to get the k squared by itself. And we get k squared is equal to 9. Take the square root of both sides. The square root of 9 is a perfect square, so it's 3. But don't forget, you get 2 solutions, so plus or minus 3 would be our answer. Well, let's try one more. Here, for 8x squared plus 6 equals 734, we're going to subtract 6 first. We get 8x squared equals 728. Now we're going to divide both sides by 8, and we're left with x squared equals 91. Again, 91 is not a perfect square, so when I take the square root of both sides, I'm going to get a decimal. So I've got x equals plus or minus the square root of 91, which is 9.539. Now that 9 will cause this 3 to round up when I just want 2 decimals, so it'll be 9.54. Here's one more example. We'll add 5 to both sides. We got 8k squared equals negative 144. We're going to divide by 8 to get the k squared by itself. And when I divide negative 144 divided by 8, I get 18, a negative 18, I'm sorry. Take the square root. If you put this into your calculator, you get an error. Your calculator will not take the square root of negative numbers. What you need to know is we're going to call these imaginary. Okay? So if you ever take the square root of a negative number, you need to write your solution imaginary. The roots do not exist on the real plane. This happens when we get a parabola that either the vertex is above the x-axis and moves up so it doesn't cross, or below the x-axis and opens down, so again it won't cross the x-axis. Those types of parabolas have imaginary roots. So remember, we can only solve like this when there is not a b value. Make sure you simplify your radicals by taking the square root in your calculator. Don't forget the positive and negative root. And you can't take the square root of a negative number, so we put our solution as imaginary. Make sure your notes are filled out and do the survey. Bring any questions you have to class. Here are the survey questions in case you can't see them.